5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine on. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32.
So I just thought it'd be fitting to start out our photo journey today here at Green Bear, which is a statue from our sister city over in Russia, since this here is a Russian lens. So this is kind of the nifty-50 alternative, and a lot of people recognize it for its swirly bokeh characteristics, and that was actually more of a defect of the lens than anything, but in today's day and age it just builds character for a vintage lens like this. So I thought it'd be fun to take the Helios down to the industrial district because it seems like a pretty industrial-esque lens. Although this lens is known for its swirly bokeh qualities, I'm not trying to shoot everything wide open here. I want to stop down and showcase that this lens can in fact be used for a multitude of purposes. I find it's reasonably sharp at f4 or narrower if you want to use it for, say, landscapes or just as a walk-around lens. So I don't know if any of you recognize that bridge behind me, or if you're a hardcore snowmobiling fan. We had a pro snowmobiler come to town a few months ago, and he jumped, I think he did a backflip from there onto a ship, and that was pretty neat. So just a little shout out to Duluth as well. Alright, so this seems like a good spot to do a sharpness test with the Helios 44-2 here. It's wide open at f2, and you can notice that the corners are very soft. Now I stop down to f4. Corner to corner starts to look better. Still not the sharpest in the world. And here's at f8, and overall sharpness is good. Not great, but it's good, especially for an old lens. The Helios was mass-produced in Russia from the 50s to the 90s. So much so that I heard from my Russian comrades that just by being born and wanting to be a photographer in the motherland, you get this lens for free automatically. No, don't fact check me on that. Alright, so just a quick note. At the very end there, we did go through a protest. We didn't participate. It's not what this channel's for, to get political and weird. We're just here to talk photography. But I wanted to mention that because, yeah, I'm in Minnesota in the United States. So I do benefit from the freedom of speech. Minnesota in particular, we're a one consent state. So that means two things in its most bare bones basic terms. Number one, don't expect privacy in a public space. That allows me to take pictures in public. And number two, as long as one party consents to the use of video, photo, actualities, what have you, scrounged together in a public place, that's a-okay. And I'm that one party. There's more to it. Obviously, I can't just go around and take pictures of kids, but don't be a weirdo. That's why I like living here, because I can fully express my street photography to its full potential. I wanted to also use that to segue into who I think this lens is for. Is it for photojournalists? Probably not. if you're in that kind of field, you're probably not looking for this lens anyways. And the reason I say it shouldn't lend itself to that kind of stuff is because it interjects itself into the narrative. And I mean, you know it's a Helios lens if you look at the image. Not that that's a bad thing, but it could distract your audience away from whatever you're trying to tell in your visual storytelling. What I'm getting at is it immerses itself into a story. Is that a bad thing? Arguably not, I guess, because Hunter S. Thompson was a journalist, yellow journalist. He interjected himself into his stories all the time and made a career out of it. So prove me wrong. But being that this is such a quirky lens, I think it'd be great for advertising or portrait work because it's just so distinguishable and it gives you such a different look. I think as long as you know that when it's wide open, you're not going to get corner to corner sharpness. That's fine if you're just into center focusing stuff. But when you start stopping down to say f2.8, f4, I think it is usable when you want to recompose, pinch things in the rules of thirds. You can very well do so with this lens. Don't expect a whole lot of contrast to come straight out of the camera because it is an older lens, but that's nothing a little bit of post-producing can't fix. It'd make a great walk-around lens because it's cheap. It's a very versatile focal length. Let me talk about the design of this lens because it's a little bit different than you might think. First, it has a nice 300-degree throw. It has 2 aperture rings. If you look on the front, here's your clicky one. And the second one here is nice and quiet. I like this because, look, if the clicky one's all the way open, I have full range on the quiet one to go all the way from its widest to its narrowest at f16. But if I stop down to say just f4, then the second one here stays at f4. It can't go past that, but it can go all the way back down to f16. I can narrow it down and I can come back to f4 when I want. Then I don't have to worry about losing my bearings or space and time trying to find f4 again. This is also nice for cinematography because it has this nice, quiet, declicked aperture, and it'd be a good choice if you want to use vintage lenses on a project. So yes, you have a fairly affordable, declicked lens. So in closing, this is a very fun lens, and again, I think it's usable across its entire range. It's just known the most to be wide open and have that nice swirly bokeh. But if you want to use this for anything else, I think it's a great everyday walk around lens too. Being that it's so bright, it's cheap, it's a nifty 50. And if you want to hit this focal range without going to your normal anchor brands, your Canons, your Nikons, your Sony, everyone makes a nifty 50. If you want to be cool or alternative, this is the lens for you. Well, that's it for now. Hello, Peanut. Come up. Come on, come on. Come say goodbye to the viewers. Follow the Matt's Notes Instagram for content seen here. Engage there because it's a lot smaller and I can see your comments faster. And if you want, subscribe. It really helps this channel out. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Peanut, come say goodbye. Come on, say goodbye to him. Come on. I'm not going to pick him up. He doesn't like that.